fan reaction live on Newcastle Fans TV. Newcastle United, following that difficult Sunday defeat in the FA Cup, have delivered tonight at the hands of Bournemouth, one of the longest trips to make in the Premier League. We've beaten the Cherries by 4-1. Shall we talk about it? Let's do this. Now, one thing you guys don't know is that in the private chats that we have, Paul was blasting Dwight Gale, Steve Bruce just before kickoff with the team selection. And now, of course, in a way, proved wrong. But just before we went on air, Paul said that he still stands by them. So,
yeah.
As you can see on the screen, Sam is to my right and Paul is to my left. Duel together. Give it both barrels, both of you. Starting with Paul.
Yeah. Well, it was obvious as the day is long. I mean, obviously, Gale loves scoring against a championship team, doesn't he? He's notched against Villa. He's notched against Bournemouth, and they are absolutely dreadful. I mean, Bournemouth
right playing tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, to be honest. But to be fair, what I said was, and I did a preview before the game today, I said I wanted to start to learn things about Newcastle ready for next season, because we were already safe before the match. I wanted to see the likes of Mutu being utilised to see what he's about. I want to see whether Matty can justify the extra money. I went through a long list of the players that I wanted to see what we could learn. Then you see Emil Kraft brought in from the absolute wilderness, a player who I still think has got no future. Dwight Gale brought in a player who I still think's got no future. Do you know what I mean? And it's that side of it which I was surprised about. We all know that Dwight Gale against championship opposition, just fantastic. He did brilliant for us in the season we got promoted. But since then, he averages 4.4 goals per season. And it's not enough. I said last season I'd have sold him for 15 million and I'd have brought in Rondon. That's what I would have done, and I've championed that all season. I'm going to stick by it. Bruce had questions to answer going into the game. He played the strongest unchanged team against Villa, and then he went in and he changed and he weakened the side against Manchester City for what was billed as our biggest game of the season, and he messed up on both occasions. So I still think I was justified on that. Today, don't get me wrong, they did brilliantly. They did what was needed to be done against a very poor opposition, and we've got another poor side coming up in West Ham. But prior to the game, I still stand by those thoughts and them thought processes. That hasn't changed. Although it's fantastic to see us play like the Dutch in orange.
Okay, I guess, yeah, total football. But okay, so this is the fan reaction show. As you know, I've got that post-it note at the top of my head. And so we will try and get you on. So click somewhere, wherever the link is, click on that StreamYard link. You'll be put into a waiting room, and we will try and get you on if we have time some point over the next 57 minutes or 56 minutes, 41 seconds. Okay. Sam, quick thoughts from you before we let the first guest on?
Yeah, Paul backtracking a bit there because he was livid about today. I mean, he's trying to hide behind, I meant Villa, I meant for the City game. He's rotated his squad, which was my biggest gripe from the past two games, and you can't moan when he does it. Gale, absolutely fine to play in this sort of game, because I agree with what Paul said. Gale is an effective championship player. Shouldn't have been anywhere near the team on Sunday. Absolutely perfect selection for this evening. Kraft, fine, why not? Again, Bournemouth were horrendous. Kraft had a more than capable game at right back. Them's the kind of games that they should be played. I think Bruce got it right tonight. I mean, I criticised him last time we were on. I didn't go in too hard because I was doing the hosting job, so I've got to keep fairly level-headed. But now I'm the right-hand man. I can go in. So he did get it completely wrong against City on Sunday. But today was absolutely fine. Joelinton had a fantastic game on the left. Sean Longstaff, I'm gutted about his serious injury because he was having an absolute stormer. In that number 10 role. He was energetic, caused problems for the first goal, which set the tone for the rest of the game. Bruce got it bob on. I'm sorry he did. Sorry, Paul. You've got humble pie all over your shirt.
Oh, no humble pie. None at all. He messed it up. He messed up in the previous game, but today Yeah, he's got the result, and that is what matters, mate. That is what matters at the end of the day. But these are an embarrassment to the league. You know, I mean, they're playing a ground that looks like Scunthorpe United's ground. Rob will know the name of that. But you know, their performance today matched it. They were cowards. They were cowardly with the way that they approached the Newcastle game. That should have been their biggest game. I think they've got like 4 huge big teams coming up or something like that. We were saying on Sky. Goodness me, they blew the chance. Nobody seems to want to win to stay up.
Excellent. So, Sam,
no, it's a shame. Go on now, Rob. I'll get a guest
Sam.
on. You're going to interrupt me in
yeah.
full. No.
Sorry.
It's your
turn,
my friend.
There does seem to be a bit of a satellite delay between us and Sam. But yeah, Sam, who have we got coming on next?
Right, I'm getting rid of Paul because he's talking absolute garbage.
Garbage.
And we're going to bring in TJ from South Africa.
TJ, one of our regulars on the Fan Reaction Show. How are you doing, TJ?
Good, and yourself?
Yes, very good, especially after that win. Now, what did you make of it tonight?
I think it was a great game. I just wish we kept the clean sheet.
Yeah, it was very disappointing to concede right at the end from Newcastle player Dan Gosling's going at that. But the new formation, I guess, was a huge talking point when the lineup came about. Do you think tonight was a good time to try and experiment, different tactics in preparation for next season, perhaps?
Yes, definitely. Especially games like Bournemouth, Norwich, and maybe Burnley are games where we should be playing more attacking football and experimenting different things.
And who stood out to you tonight? I think there's a lot of players that stood out to me, but who was the one person for you that was the deciding factor today? Have we lost him? Have we lost TJ? Some technical difficulties, perhaps? I think we might have lost him.
Gone.
Sorry, TJ. It's always a joy to have him on the Fan Reaction Show. He's a great guy, and maybe next time, maybe on Sunday, we can get him on. But Sam, I might as well pitch the same question to you. Who was it that stood out to you tonight?
ASM with a hat-trick of assists, as I bring back in Paul. ASM with a hat-trick of assists. To be honest, that was my only gripe with the team. I was surprised to see him play. I wanted him rested, and I thought Lazaro was deserving enough for a start. But he was absolutely fantastic. Showed hardly any signs of fatigue. 3 assists, the first 3 goals. It was absolutely electric. Different gravy. Superb. And as I say, before he went off with a knock, Sean Longstaff had the best game in not a black and white shirt, it was an orange shirt, but he had the best game he's had for a good while now. So yeah, that was really pleasing. ASM and Sean Longstaff, I think it was our best performance going forward I can remember for, at least this season.
Now, Paul, it was ASM was actually a doubt going into today's game. We weren't sure whether he was going to feature. How much do you think he had? How do you think the game would have played out had he not played? We got some technical difficulties again. Might be a bit more of a satellite delay. Can you hear me, Paul?
Just no one wants to talk to us. No one wants to talk to us.
Oh, right, okay. Who have we got coming up next, Sam? Gosh, I hope it's not like this for the next.
Right, we're going to welcome Rowan.
Rowan. Hello, Rowan. How are you doing, mate?
To the Fan Reaction.
Hello.
Show.
So tonight, what do you make of
How
that?
are you?
I'm very good, thanks.
I can't remember the last time. Wasn't it Fulham away when we last won 4-0? I mean, I've never felt this happy after a Newcastle game in a long while.
Well, in theory, I hate to shoot you down there, but we didn't win 4-0 tonight. So the last time that we won 4-0 is still the final day of last season. But easy to forget. Easy mistake to make. But the last time that we did score 4 goals in any game is the Fulham game last year.
Yeah. You shouldn't have reminded me. I was happy
Sorry.
knowing it was 4-0.
I do feel so. I do feel guilty about that. But looking at the table now, we are currently in 13th. We've made one step up to the table with 42 points. Where do you think we can finish? Because we currently stand 2 points off the top 10 once again. 6 games to go.
Yeah, it just we're in a very good spot, and it makes you think like if we had got the extra 2 points against Villa, if we had earlier games in the season, the Burnley game at home should have won that. You'd think with the extra 5 points or like 4 points from them, we'd be pushing into the top 10 comfortably. But I mean, looking at it, aren't we only 3 points off 8th? I might be wrong. But I mean, I'm not saying we're going for
That's
Europe,
correct.
but
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a good position. I mean, it played like they were under no pressure today, which I think really helped them, and I think they owed us a good performance, especially after the Man City display.
Interesting. So, do you think that this will pretty much be the case for the remaining games of the season in terms of we'll play without any added pressure? And how do you think that will affect us going into the West Ham game on Sunday?
Well, yeah, I think it's like what Bruce said. It's sometimes we can stop looking backwards. If over your shoulder, you can start looking forwards, which is a good thing, really. And it's all about like you've got to give like Tino deserves to start the next game, especially very unlucky to not get 2 goals. I mean, forget about the Isaac Hayden miss, but
I know, yeah,
but
the Hayden miss.
I think, especially that Bentaleb really surprised me. I thought he was excellent today, and also Kraft. I mean, I thought he was excellent as well, apart from the last goal.
Yeah, I think Kraft was absolutely fantastic today. But if you're ready, Howe, and you saw that performance in a game that really matters most, you think in Newcastle at home, there's surely points to be had in that game, and they certainly need every point matters when you're down at the drop, especially when you're inside the relegation zone on goal difference. How do you rate Bournemouth's chances of staying up after seeing that?
Yeah, I don't rate him. I think I mean, who I'd want to go down would be Norwich, West Ham, and Villa, but I think who will go down Norwich, Villa, and Bournemouth. I mean, you can't be like Newcastle are rubbish. We have like our attack this season has been very poor, and to concede 4 goals at home to a Newcastle side who like struggled to score in the first half of the season. I mean, yeah, I think if you've got a defence that leaks goals. I mean, how easy was it for that 4th goal for Lazaro just to run past a defence like nothing was there?
Well, how easy was it for Hayden to score just a couple of minutes later?
Goal as well.
Very true, very true. So one final question to you, Rowan. Your prediction for Sunday at home to West Ham?
I'm going to say 3-1 to Newcastle.
3-1, very good. Another convincing win could well be on the card. So, Rowan, thank you very much for joining us. It's fantastic to have you on the channel again. And wish you a very nice night. So that were the thoughts of Rowan there. Sam, you looked as if you were about to say something there.
No, you carry on. Ask me a question.
All right, ask you a question. How many Wednesdays has it been, or how many times have Newcastle played? I've muddled that question up, haven't I? But yes, what do you think of we've ended our Wednesday jinx, haven't we? Because we've played the last 19 times we have played on a Wednesday before today, we've failed to win, and now we've finally ended our Wednesday jinx.
What? How many? What? When was the last time we won on a Wednesday?
Yeah,
that must have been.
We've played 19
Loads.
games on a Wednesday and failing to win. But anyway,
So when was? No, I want to know, when was the last time we won on a Wednesday? Then what was the result? What was the game? Come on, you can't dangle that in front of me and not give me the freaking answer, like the proper answer.
I've got a confession to make. I didn't. I haven't actually checked.
Oh, yeah. Right, I'm moving to France.
Okay. Yeah,
right, I'm going to get rid
minutes
of
to go.
me, and then I'm going to add Callum and Blake.
Callum and Blake, do you say? So we welcome Callum and... Sorry, I didn't quite catch the second name from Sam there. So we have Callum and...
Jake,
lovely stuff. So welcome to you both. So Callum, out of the 4 goals that we scored tonight, what was the best goal?
It's our Miguel one or the last one. What's his name? I can't remember.
Lazaro.
Yeah, I said that was the top goals. But I said the second one, saint-maximin, what exists. I think that is a good goal. But I have to say Miguel one and Lazaro, one of the best goals in my opinion. That they're done brilliantly. Because I thought Miguel one, when he played against Crystal Palace 1-0 up in his first goal, and because I thought last season he's not getting into it, but this time he's getting really confident now.
Yeah, confidence certainly has takes him a long way, because we waited a long time. He just, back in November, October, he seemed to lose a lot of confidence, and he just wasn't able to really connect with the ball. But once he got that first goal, he scored against Wolves as well, and Rochdale against in the FA Cup. And then, of course, tonight, his first goal since the restart. Question to you, Jake. What did you make of the formation change today? Because it's a bit unexpected from Steve Bruce.
I liked it. It's a bit unusual, but it's glad that he's trying something new.
And what has this formation got out of the players that the 4-2-3-1 didn't quite get?
I think it got a bit better for Joelinton when he was out on the wide. He looked a lot more confident.
Yeah, he certainly seemed to be changing on each side. Since it seems to play a bit on the left, on the right, and someone like Adam Smith, couldn't really handle him. So when you look at the table now, so about 13th place, we're pretty much safe. 15 points, 4 more points will guarantee safety. But where do you think we will finish at the end, Callum? At the end of the season, where do you think we will finish?
Probably 11, 12, I'm guessing. But we'll definitely save it more, like, because if we win 3 more, probably 1 more win, then we'd definitely save. But like I said, it's out level 12. That's what I'm guessing.
And what do you think of Jake? To you, what do you think of Bournemouth's chances of staying up after that? Because they're still only in the relegation zone on goal difference.
Yeah, I think they're down. But looking at the teams left, basically all the top 6.
Yeah, it's a very tough running, arguably the toughest running out of the teams down there. And finally, Jake, I'll come to you first. Question to you both. West Ham on Sunday, what are your predictions?
The keeper's a lot better, Fabianski, than Ramsdale, so it will be hard. I'm going to say 2-1.
2-1.
To Newcastle.
Very good. And Callum?
For me, I don't want to say as it's my close stepdad's team, because he's basically from East London, so I don't want to say it. It's been interesting. He loves West Ham so much. That's why I don't want to say anything.
Ooh. Your secret's safe with us, though. If you want to say.
If I want to say it, probably a draw for it, because he loves to see the point. That's why I said.
Maybe we'll see. But thank you very much, Callum and Jake, for coming on tonight.
But of course, I think it's for. I just had a happy today performance, because because I was on live stream with you guys last weekend. Against City, is that right? When we lost. I do I do struggle. That's why this is the first time as a reaction with you guys, because I shouldn't say it, but I actually live in Newcastle. I actually live in Coventry, but I see my granddad did it,
because my mum's side, they're both from Newcastle. That's why I support them.
Oh, the more the merrier. Everyone's welcome wherever they are in the world. I mean, we had TJ from South Africa on earlier. But Callum and Jake, thank you very much for coming on tonight. And have a nice night, and we'll hopefully see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. So there were the thoughts of Callum and Jake there as Sam brings himself back into the room. And might we have a chance to see Paul, or is he hiding away? Oh, there he is. There he is, Paul.
Did you miss
There he is.
Did you miss me?
The connection's garbage, maybe.
I'll be sharing your connection. We're only about 20 minutes away. We're representing County Durham here.
DL postcodes, and I tell you what, another postcode that shone today was NE29, because of course Kyle he can't be here. He can't be here to do the fan reaction show because his quick thoughts are going out on the NFTV Extra channel. So be sure to check those out after this.
Like and subscribe.
Yes, so that is why Kyle can't be here. But just to make up for his absence, NE29, and I'll start from the beginning, like I usually do. So Sean Longstaff. Kyle, I'm not very good at impressions, but Kyle's one of my better ones. NE29, Paul, Sean Longstaff, what impressed you? Because of course he only played about half an hour, but he certainly made a big difference in that half an hour, didn't he?
Goodness me, it's his best performance. I mean, he's had a few this season, but he's not had a vintage year, has he? To be fair to Sean, he played decent. Was it Spurs? And there was another game as well. Slips my mind now, but he's had a couple of decent games. But today, just pushed a little further forward, and what a difference it made! Quality goal. His awareness in the box is there for all to see. I am just proper gutted that he's got an opportunity. He's forced his way in, and that injury, I think, will probably keep him out for the rest of this term. And then we just don't know what's going to happen into the future with regards to what. I won't say the word. It's like Beetlejuice if you say it too many times. But yeah, proper good for him. But a quality strike. The Sean Longstaff of last season, we were all raving about and stuff. It just hasn't really got going. And injuries have been a huge issue this season. But Kyle is still banging the NE29 drum. Big time. And no doubt as well, this situation with his brother's probably having a bit of an effect on it as well, Rob, would you say?
I was thinking when you mentioned Kyle still banging the NE29 drum, and I think that might be more so for Matty rather than Sean. But yes, I think it's a fantastic finish. It's his first Premier League goal since his first, which came against Burnley in February last year. I have to say, Sam, that is still a terrific finish because the ball's got to go through a forest of players, as you can see on your screen there. His weaker left foot, and it goes through a forest of players.
Really, really intelligent finish, I thought. Obviously, Saint-Maximin gets the plaudits for the way he's beaten pretty much the whole of the Bournemouth defence, and I think it was Adam Smith he beat again for good measure. And then obviously he lays it off to Sean. There's still some work to do because there's 4 or 5 Bournemouth players more or less on the line or in and around the goal mouth, and he lifts it over him and puts it in the top corner absolutely superbly. It's on a postage stamp stuff. It would have been exactly where he was aiming. Cracking finish. And it's the first time, obviously he's played in the number 10 role in the FA Cup against the lesser sides. I think that was his first proper chance now. I know Bournemouth are in the bottom of the league and they didn't look good tonight, but just goes to show that with a bit of perseverance, Sean could actually make a pretty decent Premier League number 10.
And we'll continue that discussion as we move on to the next guest. So who have we in waiting, Sam?
Right, I'm going to disappear and we're going to bring on Craig. And then after Craig's been on, we're going to welcome in Christopher and Lloyd. So we've got Craig coming on now.
Hey, guys.
Hello, Craig.
Hey, Craig.
Good to see you, Craig. Good to see you, Craig. I'll tell you what, to see you substituted on for Sam, that is a welcome relief to us all. But what do you make of tonight's brilliant performance?
Oh, fantastic performance. And I think, going to sound a bit like a broken record, but I mean, Alan saint-maximin, he's just doing so well this season. And his performance today kind of capped it. Here's a statistic for you. Becomes the third player in the history of the Premiership for Newcastle to get a hat-trick of assists. So...
I'm both impressed and devastated at the fact that I couldn't get that.
Well, can you name the other two?
Oh gosh, I think the last time it happened in a Newcastle shirt, but not in the Premier League, but in a Newcastle shirt, was Florian Thauvin against Northampton in August 2015. His home debut, that was. But no, do you know who the other two are?
I could name one of them. I couldn't remember the other one. One of them is Andy Cole.
All right, I was thinking. I was thinking maybe
from way back
Gibbs.
when, but the other one I can't. I genuinely can't remember. But
but yes.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So broken record, but Alan saint-maximin again, player of the match. He's had that almost every game this season. What else to say?
If you could put a price tag on ASM, how much would you put him up for in the summer? I know he's untouchable. I know we really don't want him to go. But at the same time, there are bigger clubs out there. In theory, we are a bit of a stelling club, as much as I hate to admit it. How much would you demand for ASM?
How much are Liverpool selling Mane for?
Oh, I certainly wouldn't be going cheap. It would be... it's
about 80 million, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, I
somewhere
was
around
80, 90 million. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, look, I'm not going to say Alan saint-maximin is on the same level as Mane, but I wouldn't think he was far off. So, 60, 70 million, maybe something like that. You're not going to want him. You're not going to let him go cheap,
Oh gosh, no. I think we've. He's of course the third highest Newcastle purchase. Of course, last year for around £20 million. And you have to say, I think that is a bargain now, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Certainly a bargain when you compare it to Joelinton.
Yeah. As much as I hate to admit it, yeah.
And I think today
he should be the blueprint. He should be the blueprint. Going forward, that type of signing, young, exciting, raw. That should be exactly the sort of play that we go for. And regardless of whether we get took over or not, if we do get taken over, rather than signing names, we need to sign players like ASM because he's just a breath of fresh air. And he gets the area as well. He connects with the fans. We've got that connection with him already. I've seen marriage proposals in our private chat when discussing
so have I.
ASM. He's the boy is an absolute legend. I even had a Gucci headband on the other night singing his song. So he's a special talent.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So where do you think we can finish? Because we're only 2 points off the top half now, and with safety all but guaranteed. Where do you think we can finish?
Honestly, I think top 10 is realistic given what games we've got left. Because I think we've got 2 or 3 winnable games. Winnable. I'm not saying we're going to win them. I'm saying they are winnable. Left. The others are going to be very tough. So, I think top 10. Although, with Man City, if that ban stands against Man City in Europe, then the top 8 teams qualify for Europe because Man City are notwithstanding. So, I mean, if we're only 2 points behind 8th or 3 points behind 8th, what was it that was said earlier? I've forgotten. Then
we are 3 points behind 8th.
So is that a realistic target? If we can win 3 of the last 6?
4 points behind Arsenal in 7th as well. I think it's a big ask, but it's certainly an achievable. I mean, teams have achieved bigger in bigger run-ins. I mean, you look at how much Wigan escaped the drop when they were always down there in the Premier League. And of course, today they announced that they're in administration, but that's a different point of view. But yes, Sean Longstaff today. Now, it's safe to say that we do have plenty of central midfielders in the current squad at the moment. Do you think it's a really good move to put Sean in the number 10 role today? And do you think that could be a role for him in the future?
Well, yeah, I mean, I like Longstaff there. He's a very gifted player moving forwards. I see. I didn't like him when he was being put in a defensive midfield role. I don't think it suits his play style. I think he's more of he wants to push forward and cause problems for the defence by provoking a defender out and leaving holes. And I think he does that very well, and he showed that today. I want to see him in a more attacking midfield role. I certainly think he and Almiron, I think, should be competing for that number 10 role behind the centre forward, if that's the system they're going to play.
And who would you go for out of those two?
It's got to be Almiron. Just.
Yeah, it's close. Of course, both were on the score sheet today.
Incidentally, great finish from Almiron today. That was a really deft finish from a player who has, up until recently, looked fairly low on confidence. That finish showed a lot of confidence to be able to deftly put that away the way he did.
Certainly.
A player I have championed all season long, even when people are criticising him. The quality, if you saw him in the Copa America and stuff like that, he's unbelievable. I've even heard people this season, and a way to get around the Sean Longstaff issue potentially could be to play ASM, certainly in the bigger games, up top as a striker, and then you can still then use Sean Longstaff and Miggy. So again, we've got lots of different potential and options and alternatives when Sean is back fit. But yeah, I agree with what you said. Defensively, I don't think he's as good. I think Matty's way better, to be honest. I think Sean's position is further up the pitch. The way he cuts a pass, and look at the space that he managed to find himself in the box. Unbelievable.
Well, that's what I was saying about when he pushes forward, he forces the defender into a tough decision, because the defender either has to come to him so that he doesn't have the space, or he has the space to do what he wants, and he can command that space really well. I mean, we've seen some of the finishes he's put away, not that he's done many, but when he has scored some fantastic goals, they're all in and around the edge of the box where he's found space because the defender's not closed him down. So, I mean, yeah, it's a problem for defenders when a player does that, because they have to either close him down or just leave him the space. So,
So two more things, Craig, before we say goodbye to you. Kevin Keegan called. He wants his radio headset back, and what is your prediction for Sunday against West Ham?
It's a very winnable game. West Ham haven't looked great since they came back. So I'm going to predict. I think defensively they're a bit stronger than Bournemouth, so I'm not going to predict a landslide victory, but I think something like 2-0, 2-1. West Ham haven't looked great going forwards since they came back, and defensively they're kind of iffy. So
interesting. So, Craig, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's always a pleasure to have you on. As always, it's a pleasure. And we will bring Sam back into the room. Sam, you were saying...
my comment when I said that Paul nicked that playing ASM up top from me, which is what I said after the City game. Just saying.
I'm going to take them.
I was thinking Lee actually said that, like...
I'm going to take the role as Jeremy Kyle here and say, Paul, is that true? That you nicked that theory from Sam?
That's with Jeremy
I do know the answer.
Well, I'm sure I thought it was Lee. Lee said it, actually, I must admit. So I was giving credit to Lee, but the Jeremy Kyle thing's a bit low. Oof, God.
Oh, no, so I'm the guy in the middle. You're scum. Right, okay. So there was an interesting comment from Dan Simpson, and Sam has just very kindly brought that up. Thanks, Sam. That saved me having to write that down whilst that comment was on. But Paul, your thoughts on Joelinton in terms of, is he more effective on the wing compared to when he is played as a number 9 striker? And that is more as how he was played at Hoffenheim, which got him that big move.
Exactly. I mean, I think people have seen the number 9 shirt on his back and been slightly confused. It's not his fault he cost 40 million. And if you look back at his career, he's always operated in like a front 3 or a front 2. He's never been the lone target man. He was thrown in at the deep end because of the situation with Solomon Rondon not returning. and it was hard, and obviously Andy Carroll's fitness concerns and Dwight Gale, etc. He's been thrown in a bit, sort of a la Yondal Thomason and the likes. He's playing in a strange role. He's had to adjust to obviously a new way of playing, a new country. He's only a young lad. But yeah, I think it was suited much better to that role. He's putting the graft in as well, and I think you can see that the coaches have worked with him. He's putting the effort in. He's turning around. He's facing the right way. He's not moping about. He's not sitting, feeling the back of his leg if he's had a kick. He's getting up. He looks game. He looks interested. He looks like he wants to succeed. And that's a lot of the issues with some of the other imports that we've had, that they haven't had that attitude. So I think there's a lot of positives again come from Joelinton, and I'm liking some of the little green shoots of recovery that I'm seeing with the lad. But again, he's another player like Miggy I have stuck up for this season, because I think Newcastle fans sometimes rip into some of these imports a little bit too soon. There's other players who deserve a lot more criticism. Christian Atsu, who said that?
Watch out for my upcoming video on NFTV Extra, because you will be pleasantly surprised with what I have planned and in the making at the moment. Currently editing that video, so be sure to watch that.
Look forward to it, then.
Let's. It might change your opinion of Christian Atsu.
It won't, it won't.
I mean, it's a wild piece of taste, but
that gets changed. Garbage.
You never know. So we've got about 25 more minutes before our time is up at 9 o'clock. So do come into the StreamYard. So click the StreamYard link, and we will hopefully have you on before time runs out. So Sam, who do we have next?
Right, we're going to get rid of Paul. We've still got plenty of people waiting. We're going to welcome in Christopher now. Then it's going to be Lloyd, followed by James, and then TJ's trying again as well. He looks like he's got some signal again. Here, we're going to bring in Christopher now.
Hi.
Hello, Christopher.
How's it going, mates?
And yes, one of our regulars on the Family Action Show. How are you?
We're going to win, apparently.
We got to win. And what time is it in Australia?
Oh, no, I'm in London.
Oh, London. Oh, fabulous. So make that 8:38 then. Sorry. My mistake.
Correct.
So, gosh, you were closer to the ground than we were up north. So what do you make of Sean Longstaff's contribution tonight in that number 10 role? Do you see him having a future in that number 10 role?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's someone that we want to bring along and keep here. I think it's really important that we show the squad that we can develop players and keep them here. I don't know about Mighty Longstaff. We've got good homegrown talent. I mean, I think when he first came on and Manchester United was offering 50 million or something like that for him, I think that was, or 25 million. It was a little bit much too soon, and he needs to sort of, maybe that got to his head, or he had injury issues. And so he hasn't shown all of the promise that he showed at the beginning, but I think that there's a lot of, there's a way to build around him. Who knows what will happen with if we get this takeover, but he's someone that I think if we do get new owners, that they could show, it would be an easy win to sort of keep him around. And if we could still get, yeah.
And back on Sunday, Dwight Gale did that almighty miss against Man City when the score was 1-0. Today, Isaac Hayden, similar, if not worse, miss. What do you think of Hayden's miss in terms of? Do you think he has any excuse, or you're gonna lay into him? Maybe this is your opportunity if you want to, of course.
I'm too nice. I mean, I was trying to remember the last time he scored, and I guess he did score once against was it Chelsea this season?
Yeah.
But yeah, so he doesn't have that many goals. He's from a fantasy perspective, is somebody who's always cheap, but you wonder whether he's really going to get you points. So, but I mean, back in the real world. He's obviously like in the engine room and like a solid contributor, and they do seem to play better when he's on the pitch. But you do want to see him, get some stats up there. So it's
I think one thing from Hayden that's inexcusable has to be his lockdown haircut. I think that's the one thing that's inexcusable. But out of the 4 goals that we scored today, what do you think was the best one?
I'll go with Sean Longstaff. Yeah. I like ones that are not like inside the box, or it would have been great. The second one from Lazaro, if that had gone in, that would have been the pick.
Oh yeah, that would have been terrific. Would have been terrific. Do you think Lazaro, he can legitimately start matches coming up next, considering that we've got a stress-free end of the season, but it would be nice to give him one last send-off before he goes back to Inter Milan?
Sure. I mean, I'm someone that thinks that I want to get the maximum points and try to strive for 8th, because 8th would be Europe if Man City is the ban is up. And I sort of do believe, it's not on topic, but I believe the Man City 2-year ban will be reduced as a compromise to 1 year. So both sides get something, and so I wouldn't look for City. I don't want to count on that. And we do have a bit of a tough road. There's some winnable games, and then some of the top 6 we play. But I do think that top 10 is realistic. It would be rough to finish 9th if 8th was Europe, but that would be kind of Newcastle. Be very Newcastle.
And one final question: your prediction for Sunday against West Ham, who are in action at the moment, of course.
I'm going to go with 2-1 Newcastle.
2-1 Newcastle. I like the sound of that. So, Christopher, thank you very much for coming on. I do apologise for getting your location wrong at the start. And
right.
Yes, as always,
open my mouth, then you'll know I'm not from down under.
As always, it is a pleasure to have you on the Fan Reaction Show, and have a nice night. We'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
Away, lads.
Away, the lads. Thank you very much, Christopher.
So what is it in Australia at the moment?
Yeah. We seem to have quite a few regular Christophers, and a few are based in Australia. So I just sort of assumed that was not embarrassing in the slightest.
So that's going to be in this month's cuts, Lee, if you're watching.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. What do you think going into Sunday's game, lads?
Well, destroy them.
Yeah, it's one of them games that you'd be looking to. We're at home, similar to the ones we've had so far in the league. We're 5 games unbeaten in the league now, 5, 6, something like that. So we're ticking over nicely. We beat them at their place, as we did Sheffield United. So it's got to be one of the games you're targeting 3 points. But West Ham are a funny old side. You look at their squad, you wonder how they're down there.
Yeah, well, you know why though, didn't you? You know why they're down there.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I do. I'm sorry to say again, it's Moiser.
Yeah, it's got to be. The man's a walking disaster zone. How he got back there, I just don't know. But they've got some good players. You're quite right. It is a shock that they're down there. Lee reckons they're going to stay up. He's quite confident that they're going to stay up. But again, they've got some difficult games, and they've got to target the weekend for points off us. But love beating Moisey.
Yeah, unfortunately, as much as I want to see West Ham go down, I can't see them going down on the basis that I just think Villa, Bournemouth, Norwich are just 3 worse teams than them. Simple as that. I just can't see Villa or Bournemouth trying to recover. Norwich as well. They've been gone for a long time.
Thing is, Rob, the thing is, though, mate, as well, nobody seems to want to stay up. Villa don't seem to want to win to stay up. They're all on the same points. It's as tight down there as a duck's ass. And nobody seems to want to take the initiative and just like string a win or 2 together and pull themselves away from it. You know what I mean? It's it's crazy. I know confidence and stuff, but like today's match against Bournemouth, their defence was absolutely all over the place, and it just didn't look like a team that was fighting tooth and nail to be able to stay up and stuff. And you'd certainly worry for Bournemouth if they go down, because they're not exactly a football institution. But I think West Ham are probably going to survive by the basis of the others just can't be bothered, you know. And I can't believe that we haven't beaten Norwich this season. How bad they are, you know. It's a shocking state of affairs. But I still think if we can finish anywhere between 13th and say 10th, I think we've done well. I think a push for Europe is just maybe a bit too far, a bit too optimistic.
Yeah, no problem being optimistic. But thank you very much for that image, saying that the relegation zone is tighter than a duck's behind. And on that note, shall we bring Lloyd and James in, Sam?
One out of the two. We'll definitely bring two people in, as we've still
enough time. Yeah, we've still got enough time. Got 15 minutes or so to go. And at the moment, it's just me, and we have someone incoming. Hopefully the connection... Oh, hello, James.
How you doing, Rob?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Better than your lighting, by the looks of it.
Yeah, actually.
But while we TJ's back. TJ's back. Welcome back, TJ. Now I think the question that I pitched to you just before your signal gave out was, what did you make of the new formation that was used today? Sorry, TJ, we can't hear you. We can see you, which is an improvement to last time, but we can't hear. Oh, sorry, TJ, we have to lose you again. James, that is much better lighting, so thank you very much for joining us. I preferred the previous bit of lighting, to be honest, but just kidding. But yes,
the cheek
of it. The new formation, James. How do you think it worked? How much do you think it got out of the players today that the 4-2-3-1 just couldn't seem to get out of the team?
Yeah, I think the new formation was well improved. I think that showed on the pitch. Not going to lie, I was surprised at first that he went 4-3-3, but it actually seemed to work, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic just to enjoy watching Newcastle actually go and attack and actually go and score some goals. And like, even when we're like 3-0 up, like, keep going and that. I know we drifted off towards the end, like the last 10 minutes and that, but it was just great to actually watch us play exciting football, and much better than that load of dross that we all watched at the weekend.
Thing is, James, it was like watching entertainers again. That's the greatest compliment that I can give tonight. It was pleasant, and watching it, and you thought at any time we could end up scoring. I mean, typical Dan Gosling ends up notching at the end. Former player, obviously, but just like watching the entertainers.
Yeah, I mean, 100%.
Yeah. What do you think it was more of today? Was it the fact that we were good, or Bournemouth were that bad?
I think it was a bit of both, to be honest. Yes, Bournemouth, in the first half especially, I think they were absolutely dreadful. But you have to give credit to us at the same time. I thought it was a great performance from us. I think every single player played well. Particular shout out, I thought Shelby and Bentaleb were absolutely brilliant in the midfield. And I think they've got to start against West Ham on Sunday. I think... good finish by Gale as well. I was actually surprised. Typical of him to score that chance, but not the one against City when we needed it. We needed him to score most. Surprise. Yeah. And they're all well taken goals. And it was just brilliant from start to finish.
Like what Paul said, Gale is very good at scoring against championship quality sides. If you're a Bournemouth fan, you want to come on, please feel free to have a go at me. I don't really care. Now, I remember.
Can I just stop you there, Rob? There's been a goal in the other game, and it's a surprising one. The Chelsea game, and West Ham's taken the lead. West Ham have taken the lead.
Wow. As you can see, Luke Nicholson says West Ham scored from a corner. So thank you very much for that update. But yes, James, I remember at the start of December, outside Bramall Lane, I interviewed you, and you didn't hold back exactly from talking about Joelinton, about how you think he's useless. He's only scored 3 goals since. Now, I'm not saying, oh, what do you think of Joelinton now? But what I want to know from you is how much an effect do you think he had on the wing today? Different position for him, but do you think he's much better off on the wing compared to as a sole striker?
I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of fans are saying yes. In my opinion, no. He did nothing today, in my opinion. I think some guy said it on Twitter as well. Absolute statue. That's what he was, in my opinion. I just don't see what he brings. Like, I see the potential there in Almiron, and I do agree with what Paul said earlier about Almiron, that a lot of fans have been having a go at him, but he always runs around and tries. The difference with Joelinton is, in my opinion, I just can't see it. Now, I've been having back and forth with loads of people because I have a lot of friends who defend Joelinton and that, saying give him time. But he's been here for nearly a season now, and I just don't see how he's going to get better. I mean, all the fans were saying after the lockdown had finished, this is going to be the new coming of Joelinton. Well, so far, I haven't seen anything to suggest that's going to be the case. I mean, yeah, he scored a tap-in against Sheffield United, but what does that say, really? And I just don't see. Yes, fair enough, he played on the wing at Hoffenheim, but that is Hoffenheim and the German Bundesliga at the end of the day, which I still think the quality of this league is better than the Bundesliga. I just don't see anything in him to suggest that he's going to improve at all.
Well, I think you've been a little bit harsh there, James, don't you think?
I mean, fair enough. I mean, I don't mind people's opinions saying that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Carry on, James. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying, I totally understand fans' opinions, that they're still defending him, because I can see some of the points that they're saying, yeah, he's still young and that, he's 23 and that. And, but it just, in my opinion, I haven't seen enough of him so far, and he just doesn't. Yeah, fair enough. We shouldn't be buying him to be our main striker. I do agree with that. I think we did that with Mitrovic when McLaren was manager. We bought him to be our main striker, and I think that was unfair. So I do get that as well. But I know the
is he a striker though, James? Is he a striker? I mean, can you remember Jon Dahl Tomasson? Jon Dahl Tomasson was bought in very much the same way as somebody who could play off the shoulder or behind as a number 10. And then because of injuries and all that sort of thing that we had at the time, Jon Dahl Tomasson was thrust into an attacking situation. And people started thinking, well, he's a striker, but in essence, he wasn't. And then obviously, as soon as he moved on, he did, quite well. I'm sure Rob knows all the clubs and stuff that he went to afterwards, but I know that he did do well. And I mean, Joelinton, he's got that 9 on his back, but he is not, he's not a striker. He's not a striker. And this is the difficulty. I think until we see him in his natural position for at least a couple of games, it's difficult to judge, because you wouldn't ask a giraffe to go swimming and you wouldn't ask a fish to go and climb up a tree, would you? You know what I mean? You've got to play it to the strengths that they've got. And I don't think he's been given maybe a fair crack of the whip just yet. But I'm seeing little green shoots. I'm seeing nothing to be megally excited about, but little green shoots with regards to Joelinton. But I would like to see him between now and the end of the season played in his proper position, so we can learn about him ready for next season, which is a big gripe that I had with the team selection and everything before the game, because I want to start to learn more about our entire squad.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get what Paul's saying there. I think if he had to play, in my opinion, then yeah, you would probably select him out on the left wing, because I think he's proven that he can't do anything up top. Sorry. So I think if we are going to play him, which I think Bruce will probably go through and play him for the rest of the season, I think that is the position where he needs to play. The kind of argument back that would be, I don't think he's proven that he's got the pace to play on the wing. That's the only thing. And I've said that about Richie in the past as well, that I think he was last season he was better suited at left wing back because I didn't think he had the pace to be on the wing. And I see something similar with Joelinton. Yeah, he's not as slow as Richie in that, but I still don't think he's like lightning. Like he's certainly not as quick as Almiron or Saint-Maximin and that. So that would be kind of my argument at that. But I totally get what you're saying about that. It's just I don't think he's got the pace and that, and he needs to. For someone who costs £40 million, yes, it's not his fault, the price tag, but in my opinion, still for 40 million, three and 2 goals in 3 goals in a season is it's not really good enough in my opinion. And I think there was a reason why I don't want to go back to Rafa because he's long gone and that, but that was maybe the reason why Rafa told the board not to go ahead and sign him for 40 million because he thought he was overpriced and that. And I think that does kind of says it all.
And one final question, James, your prediction for Sunday against West Ham?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tougher game than Bournemouth because West Ham, even though I think their manager's an absolute clown, I think...
I'm going to say it again, it's Moise.
Yeah, Moise. But I do think they have got some good attacking players, and there will be, like they said, we're just taking the lead against Chelsea, so there might be, so they're definitely going to be up for it. And I do think I expect a tight game totally. And you know what we're like, but have a good win, and then we might be like the next game will be really tight and that. So I think it is good. I think it is going to be tough. I probably lean towards us 2-1. I think that's the most popular score prediction by like other fans that have been on so far. And I would expect maybe like an onslaught from West Ham towards the end. And I think like in some of the other games, for example, Bournemouth, I think when we're edged us 2-1 at home, like they threw everything in the last minute. I'd expect something like that, maybe 2-1 up and then throw everything at it. And we might just cling on at the end to a 2-1 win. So I expect a close game and I think we will nick it 2-1.
Okay, James, thank you very much for coming on and have a nice night. We'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
You too, lads. See you in a bit. Cheers.
And there were the thoughts from James, and as Sam comes back in, we've got about 3 minutes left. I think we've got time for one more quick one. But yeah, and that will take us up nicely to 9 o'clock. So, Sam, have we got anyone in waiting for...
Yeah, we're going to have Lawrence and Maximus on together, and then that'll be a wrap. So, Lawrence.
Hello, Lawrence.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah, when he comes back in.
Right.
And just coming in. So, hello, Lawrence. There we go.
Hey, Rob. How are you?
How you doing, mate?
Good.
I'm good. Thanks, especially after that win. And hello, Maximus.
How's it going?
Good to see you. Okay, so Lawrence, where do you think we can finish looking at the table now? In 13th place on 42 points, just 4 points behind Arsenal in 7th. Where do you think we can finish, considering that we've got a fairly good run in?
You know what? We could probably get a European place. I mean, we've got a lot of winnable games. Watford, Brighton. I mean, who else is it? West Ham. I know these teams are supposed to be fighting for their lives. But 7 points with 6 games to go. Why not go for it? I mean, especially if Man City are banned from Europe for next season.
Of course, certainly wait and see what happens from their appeal to UEFA. And Maximus, what do you make of the new formation? Do you want to see that 4-3-3 formation for the next few games at least?
Yeah, no, I think that it's really working to our strengths. I definitely think that he should have switched over to that formation a while before, even before the lockdown itself. But I am worried that he is moving a lot of players around. I actually agree with James, who was just on that. Like, Joelinton shouldn't be out on the left. And in my opinion, I think Andy Carroll should be starting now over Gale, because even though he's he scored twice now coming in through the middle. I think that those opportunities have just fallen to him, you know, and I feel like we won't always have those opportunities that just fall to our striker. So I think that Andy Carroll is just he's actually a better finisher, and I think that he'll also seek out chances, like make something out of nothing, and I think that's what we're gonna need for the run in. So keep the formation, but like have more consistency and players that actually will make things happen.
I like it. So Andy Carroll starting in the next game, maybe against West Ham. And speaking of that West Ham game, Maximus, what is your prediction for that game?
So I'm watching them right now, and they don't really have much in them. I think I'm gonna ask for another 4. I'm gonna ask for another 4, and then for Dubravka to really challenge Alisson more for those clean sheets, because I think he really has it in.
Yeah, very, very good, very good. So Lawrence, do you match Maximus with another 4?
I think 2-1 or 2-0.
2-1 and 2-0. I presume that's to Newcastle, of course. But yes, thank you guys for coming on. Sorry, it's been a quick one, but our hour is pretty much up. So thank you very much, Maximus, for coming on, and Lawrence, aka Colaccini, coming on. So it's been a joy to have you with us, and thank you to everyone who has come on the show tonight. That has been a very quick and very enjoyable hour, as Paul and Sam are about to come in. So thank you very much to all of you who've been watching tonight, all of you who have come on. We have been Newcastle Fans TV. Later on tonight, we have Scoring the Players. We have interviewing an opposition fan. All of those videos are coming up live tonight, and we will also have the last word and a nice little surprise. Yeah, a nice little surprise there will be in the last word, from what I've heard from Lee and what he's planning on boiling up. So certainly look forward to seeing that. Tune into all our other videos. So thank you very much once again to everyone, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time on Sunday for the next fan reaction show. But of course, we'll preview that game before Sunday, and be sure to join us for that. Bye for now.
Keep it tuned.